Without any further
Good,
ado, I'll go ahead and introduce Luis Bermudez.
good. Thank you, Greg, and thank you all for being here today. So I'm going to talk about OGC compliance, the importance of why you need to be OGC compliant, how do we do it, and then I'm going to um, uh, give an overview of the portal and how you go through the different steps to test the software and to get your software certified. First motivation is, so why do we really care? Is, well, governments all over the world are demanding for OGC compliant, not only for OGC, but probably other standards such as ISO. In this case, I'm going to show some examples that are related to OGC. This is the Department of Municipal Affairs, which are doing a request for proposal to create a system for their municipality. And they state in their software engineering requirements that OGC standards are needed, OGC WMS, WFS, WCS, and GML, and so on. This is in the UK Defense Systems. They publish a guidance on the application of the special standards, and also they mention for different type of products the requirement of OGC. So we can see here, for example, network services for maritime geospatial products. They tell a little bit about the protocols like FTP, SOAP, HTTP, but also they mention web services, OGC, star S, which means WFS, WMS, WCS, and so on. The same for meteorological products. They mention WMS and WFS, and also they mention GML in the document. We go here to the US Army this was in 2012. Also, they asked to provide COTS component for terrain imaging in command posts and vehicles, and they are requesting that if you read it, that is required to have those products implement OGC web mapping services, OGC web map tiling services, and other OGC services as well. Inspire, which many of you might know, provides the guidance to develop the infrastructure for spatial information in Europe. So they provide a set of guidelines that tells in very detailed for a lot of different themes, what are the standards that should be used. So in the case, you can see here that they're talking about GML. But it also talks in the different documents that is required other OGC standards. So why do you think governments are requesting that products implement OGC standard? Well, because we have Open Geospatial Consortium, we have standards that are somehow mature, and we have a lot of products that are already implementing some of the standards. We have a registration in our website. This is a free registration service where if you are implementing OGC standards, you can go and register yourself the product. Here you will see a screenshot of that database, online database that is publicly available to everybody. And you will see, for example, that Web Map Service 1.11, we have about 462, maybe this has changed in the last weeks, but 462 products that have been registered, and we have of those 77 are compliant, and so forth for the other standards. Now, it's important to be compliant, right? It's the difference between I think I have implemented the standard correctly to yes, OGC has verified that my product is really compliant, is really passing, is really implementing the standard correctly. So these are some examples of products that have been certified. I'm going to talk a little bit how we create these logos for each product. They are automatic logos with the information created that you can also use in your web page or any other products. So we have available tests in what we call the production website and also the beta website. In the production website, you will see all the different standards that we have tested for and that you can get compliant certification. So we have catalog services for the web 2.02, geographic markup language 3.21, sensor observation service 1.00, sensor observation service 2.0, sensor planning service 1.0 and 2.0, simple feature access SQL 1.1 and 1.21, web service services 3 versions, web feature service 1.0, 1.10, and the new one is 2.0, and web map service 1.11 and 1.30. We are expecting to have available the tests in the production website, these ones, the OWS context, which right now all these tests are in beta, but they are going through the process right now to get voted by the technical committee, and then we will have it ready for production and to give certification. So OWS context, which is a new standard, OGC KML, which if you remember, Google said that it was important to have KML as an open standard, so they give it to OGC, so OGC will manage the process of maintaining KML. Then SLD 1.10, WMS client, which is the first time we're going to certify clients. So what happens is, if you have a client, you start the testing process and we will give you a URL that you need to exercise. That URL intercepts the request that goes to a compliant server, and then we will check if the client is doing appropriate requests and if is doing all of the requests required to get compliance. And we have web map tile service and web processing service. It's really very easy to get certified. We have now an online process. We have done a lot of effort to make this very easy. And I don't know of any other organization that can do this as efficient as we do. So the process is, you go and test online. So we are minimizing really the human intervention to see if a software product works. Then you register your product in the OGC implementation database, the one I was talking about before, which is a free registration database. That way we capture the name of the product, the contact details correctly, because you are managing the process of entering the information. Then in that implementation database, you can link to the test sessions in the step number 1, and you submit the form, an online form. You will then get notified. We will review the test and we will review the form, and you pay license fees to acquire the license. This will give you the privilege for 1 year to use the OGC logo in your products, in your website, and so forth, and to claim that you are certified and compliant, or that a product, a specific product, is compliant with a specific standard of OGC. So this is the online testing facility. I'm going to go into the details of each of the components that you need to be aware of. So this is how it looks like. There is a login here link, which is very easy. Very easy and to get access to it. So I'm going to do a demo. Hopefully all of you are seeing the screen. If it is too big or too short, Greg, let me know. So this is
looks fine.
The Team Engine production facility. This is the one that you need to use to get certified. So it's siteopenspecial.org /Team Engine. And I'm going to log in. Let's say I'm going to register we only require only 4 fields. So I'm going here to do a new registration. Even the email is optional. And this is what it will appear. We'll say, well, we have 0 test sessions at this point, and then we'll ask you, we'll give you the possibility to create a new session. So you create a new session, you select the organization, OGC, and then let's say we're going to test the first one in catalog services for the web, 2.02 and revision 8. So this is CSW 2.02. And I start the new session. So a console opens that will tell me what's happening with the test, and then a form asks me for the endpoint of the service. So here is where you annotate where your service is. Now, I'm going to use for the purpose of showing a test, I'm going to pick one of the reference implementations. So we have, and this is part also of the presentation, and there is a link in the presentation also that you can get afterwards. So here's where we have all the reference implementations. This is the Sidewiki site opengeospatial.org reference, and I'm going to pick one of these. Let's say these PYCSW. So I copy the link, and then I paste the link in this form, and then I start the test. So I can see the console that something is happening, and what's happening is that it's providing me feedback for all the tests that are part of the test suite. The test finished. There are some tests that can be this fast, other tests take a little bit longer, but it's usually less than a minute. And it gives me here a nice report, says that all test assertions 102 tests passed, no test failed. So here, for example, if I'm the owner of this product, I will say I'm ready for getting certified. This is really how it works. I can see the details in some of the cases that maybe, for example, if the test has not passed, and I will read what was the assertion, what was the request, and all the details that you need to know to better fix your product. Okay, I'm going to then continue here the presentation. So now I'm going to the implementation portal. And for that, I go to the main OGC website, which is opengeospatial.org. I can click on participate and get certified. I'm going to sign out here. And this is what I will see if I am signed out. So we'll say, okay, this is the OGC implementing uncertified products. If you click on the product registered, you will see the screen that I showed before, like all registered products, or let me see, by specification. For example, if I want to see WMS 1.3, I can see all these organizations have products that have implemented WMS 1.3, and the information in green tells that these products have been certified and tells you the date and so forth. So you'll see a lot of products. This is very important if you're in the process of purchasing, for example, software, and you want to guarantee that they are compliant, or you just want to know who your competitors are, or you want to just buy a software that that it will help you make your task better. So I'm going again. So I'm going to register now or update. So again, I'm in this screen, and when I log into this implementation database, I will see first my products listing. I will see if I have anything compliant. In this case, I don't have anything. So it's very easy. I add a new product, and I'm going to create here just a fictitious one. This is a Terra Super Cat server, and this is version 3.0. The registration is today. These are all optional, but it's good to have sometimes a URL for your product, because that's how others, they can get access to more information about your product. Well, I create a record, and then let's say I want to be compliant, and it tells me that first I need to link to my Team Engine account. So I will do that. I'll say I use Team Engine, and then my username was, I think the one that I just used was this. And I will see that, okay, that I have been linked to my Team Engine account, which is the test that I previously did. So when I do compliance, I'll say I'm going to create a new compliance submission. I select one of the products that I have already registered, and I select my Team Engine session. And this shows me here that the Team Engine session is OGC Catalog Services for the Web that passed in 2014-5, which is just about 5 minutes ago. So it showed me here the result that says passed. I can link to an account if I am an OGC member, where I have previously a compliance listing. I can select from the drop-down list. If not, I will fill my information. Here I sign digitally, and I submit for compliance certification. So that's all what you need to apply for compliance. So once we get the form, and depending on your TGAR, and TGAR is the total gross annual revenue. So if you're a small company and you're an OGC member, the fee that you're going to pay is $80 per year. If you are a company which TGAR is more than 500 million per year, for example, and you are a non-member, you will pay 7,000 per year to acquire the license fee to use the OGC logo. So we try to be fair depending on how big the company is, how many resources they have, and if they are members or non-members. The next month, we're going to have new fees where you can access also from the OGC website. So they are very similar. The only difference is that we have less levels, fewer levels. Okay, so I'm going to now continue the presentation. So I demonstrated that we can test the services, but we can not only test the services, but we can test also instances. So in the case of GML, in GML, communities can create their own application schema. So now we're able to test that application schema. Sometimes it's not enough to see if it complies with the schema, but there are also other rules that you need to pass. We're also allowed, for example, for the tester to submit a schematron. You can test also GML instances if they conform to a particular GML schema, and the other case is KML. GML schema and GML instances for 3.21, they are already in the operation website, so you can get certified. KML 2.2 is still in beta. Okay, so I did that demo already. So there are various ways that you can reduce your fees. Even we know that our fees are not that much compared to other standards organizations. There's still another way. There are some ways to reduce the fees. For example, if the test is in beta and you want to participate in the process of improving the test and be one of 3 implementations that pass the test while the test is in beta, then we waive the fees for 1 year. It's important for us because we want to guarantee as much as possible that the tests are good, and that 3 different implementations from 3 different organizations are okay with the test. So you can also be a reference implementation, which is independent of the first 3 that pass the test while the test is in beta. This is any fully functional licensed copy of a test bed, of a tested branded software, right? So it needs to be a product that really exists, that is maintained, that is versioned, and that has passed the test for an associated conformance class. So sometimes a standard has different conformance classes. For example, WFS, Web Feature Service, can be basic and transaction. Those 2 are conformance classes. So even if you are only implementing a subset, which is called a conformance class of a standard, you can become a reference implementation. The important part is that it's free and publicly available for testing. We are not required that it's open source, but we require that somebody can just access it and use it for free. The status is good for 1 year, so every year the implementation needs to be retested and needs to pass in order to maintain the reference implementation status. Now, another way that you can save license fees, if you are not a member, the fee is going to be higher. If you are associate member, then you get some discount. But if you get a better membership, OGC membership, for example, like principal or strategic, then at that point you are making a lot of savings. So let's say you have about 10, 20 products, and if you are principal, you only pay for 2 products. All the others come for as part of your principal membership. So you don't need to pay for more than 2. If you're a strategic, you only pay for 1. The others, you don't pay. So even if you have 100 more products, you can get them all certified and you don't pay because of your membership level. Sometimes we get the request of, it's hard, we don't know how to really pass the test, there is not enough information in the testing facility, so we have a side forum. At the side forum, we have about 300 members. Some of them are experts that are willing to help you solve the problems. This is an example. Somebody sent an email June 11, 2013, says, I'm having some troubles with WMTS. I don't know what's going on. And then, the same day, somebody responded and say, thank you very much. And the problem was solved. So the side forum is really, really, really great, and is the best way to improve your implementation. Even if you are not in the goal of getting certified, just for trying to solve problems where you're trying to implement OGC standard, is a very good resource. Now, let's say you got OGC certified, so that's great. Now you can use the mark anywhere. The important thing is that it should always be associated with a standard or product, always. So it's not enough to say that company X is OGC compliant. That's too broad, and we are not allowed to, we do not recommend you to do that. It's not really good for the community. What's important is that you be very specific and you say product XYZ is compliant with standard XYZ. So this, for example of a product called TerraCool, and says yes, is OGC compliant with WCS 1.00, WFS 1.00, and so forth. So sorry, in this case, TerraCool is the company, and the product is Supercatalog Server 1.0. Every time you have a product that is OGC certified, we give you a live URL logo with the information that you can use anywhere. So for every product you have, you will get an image like this that you can access via URL. Now, the good thing is that you can tell everybody, right? That's what you want in order to get more business, to promote better your product. So you can say, you know, TerraCool server is certified or is compliant with a specific product. You can use one of these two words, certified or compliant. Both of them are good. Now, how do you do it? And sometimes, for example, these folks degree product, they just put the logo on their website. You know, that's one way to do it. Sometimes in interviews, right? It's an example of Intergraph, an interview, and they say, yes, Intergraph, you meet SDI, offers OGC compliance services. And sometimes, for example, in white papers, like Esri, for example, has a white paper that lists in very detail what are the products that they have and the compliant product. And even they put the date when the date of the certification. So what happens if you have correctly implemented, or you think you have implemented, but you have not been certified? You can use implement. That is okay. If you use implement, you are not really not following the OGC policies and procedures, and you are using the correct word. Now, these conclusions and checklist, so I can have some minutes for questions and answers. So first, register your product in the implementation database. Second, go to the OGC testing facility where you can run a test for any OGC standard that we have available for certification. 3, once you pass and you want to apply for certification, so you go to the implementation database, link to the Team Engine account, and you fill, you know, all the necessary information. 4, if you have any issues or questions, the best way to go is to use the site forum, because there are a lot of people that can help you. Then you can go do more fixes, go to step 2, and while you're certified, promote your product. So this is the end of the webinar. I hope all of you got the idea about why it's important to get OGC certified, what is the process to do it, and what are some resources that you can use when you need help. So I'm going to leave now some minutes for questions.
If anyone has any questions, they can either raise their hand using the control panel, or they can type their question in the questions. I know some of you have probably been on this webinar before and just wanted a refresher, so you might not have any questions, but if you do, go ahead and ask them now. Louise, that was fantastic. I don't see any questions. I learned something today, and I've been through this before, so very helpful. I appreciate it, and I think it was very informative.
Good. So thank you all for your attendance, and hopefully see you at the TC meeting in March. Okay.